Everybody know my name. Millie Floors Flames, plus I got that fireman. Fuckers call me Lil Wayne. And I got a little gang. Always full of niggas swag. Tryna fucking suck me just so they can get they niggas mad.
How's it going? I'm back. I got a story to tell y'all today. Not really a story. I have a few anecdotes. Okay, I got a few anecdotes. It's kind of like a PSA. It's about alcohol. PSA about alcohol. I'm really tired right now, so I might stumble a little bit over my words, but that's okay. I always do it anyway. Alcohol. So, alcohol is something in my life that is not very common. I know there are a lot of people my age that drink a whole lot, and that's not really me. A, because, I just don't really have access to a lot of it, and B, because, there's better things to do. There's better ways to get fucked up if that's what you're trying to do, but just in general, there's a lot of better things you can be doing with your time, than drinking alcohol. And, the thing about it is, I have a lot of, history of alcoholics in my family, and that's not, well, for example, my stepdad. I'm not going to get too deep into all that, but he has an alcohol problem. My dad doesn't really have an alcohol problem, but he drinks a lot. So does my stepmom. So does a lot of my family, particularly my dad's side of the family. And it's just been so commonplace in my life that it doesn't really seem like anything special to me at this point. Like, I've been drunk a few times. I've drank a decent amount, but it's just, I prefer other things, I only really started seriously drinking to get, fucked up, probably around the beginning of my freshman year of high school. I think the first time I really started to get fucked up on alcohol was summer before freshman year. And I had this friend, I still have this friend, and for this story, I don't want to give away any names right now, so I'm going to call him David. So my friend David, I would go to his house, not every day, but, probably a good once every couple weeks or so. I mean, my dad never really let me hang out very often for a couple years before I stopped living with him. Me and David would hang out any chance we got. We would always go to church together and stuff, too. It was cool. Every Wednesday, and he's still a close friend of mine to this day. We don't talk much because, he's just not really on his phone a whole lot, and I'm far away. But me and him, we used to go to his house all the time, and his mom, she had a lot of alcohol. She had wine, she had, cognac and whiskey and stuff. His mom was kind of a big drinker, but she was a nice lady. She's a great lady. She's helped me out a few times. Let me stay there when I needed to. She's cooked me meals when I didn't ask. She's a great lady. And I remember probably the first time that we really seriously did, drinking together was I went over to his house this one day in summer. Or maybe it was, beginning of school year. I'm not sure. I believe it was summer. And he was talking to me. He was texting me. He was saying he had this cognac. And I didn't really know what that was at the time. It's just I still don't really know what it is. All I know is that I enjoyed it at the time. It's a really strong alcohol, and he had that stashed under his bathroom counter, and so I went over to David's house, and we drank that together. I had, a few swigs. He had a few swigs. I think he finished that bottle within, a week, and I was pissed at him because I was like, oh, fuck, man, I wanted some more. I never actually really started getting any type of buzz or drunk or anything, or maybe I just didn't realize how to recognize it. I'm not really sure. But we drank a few times, and one of the first times that it really actually fucked me up, and in a bad way, not in a I'm drunk, I enjoy this way, but in a bad way, was one time it was me, David, and probably 3 or 4 of my other friends. One of my friends was about to move away, or actually, no, he had already moved away, but he was coming to visit, and I think it was just me and David that drank that time. Because I had other friends that were in football and stuff, and so they were trying to keep away from drugs and stuff. That didn't last very long, but we went over to his house. His mom made us food. We had all this shit. We had, watermelon. We had, chips and hot dogs and, pasta and stuff. His mom was a great host. And he had this bottle of wine under his bathroom sink, which is where he always hid his stuff. And I went in there, and me and him would take turns. We'd go in there, we'd lock the door and make sure his mom wasn't around, and then we'd just go swig on it. And so I had a lot. I probably had I don't know, a quarter of the bottle or so. I don't really remember. I can't recall, but I know I drank a lot and my stomach started to hurt really bad because I drank a lot and I was eating a lot. Something about it just got me, I had a horrible stomach ache. But that was the first time I was like, I don't really like this that much. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. But, you know, I didn't tell his mom what was happening. I told her that my stomach hurt and she got me a Tums. That was all fine. Beginning of freshman year is when I really started being interested in like types of drugs and like weed and alcohol and stuff. I don't exactly know what it was that caused it because I really never had a fascination with any of that before, I don't know, the end of 8th grade. I had this sort of phase where I would take like my stepdad's beer and drink it. And I remember one of the first times I actually met my ex-girlfriend was, we were on a Discord call together, actually. That sounds kind of funny. My friends had a Discord server, and this girl was actually one of my friend's exes, but they only dated for like not very long. And so she was still in there, she was in the call, and I had gotten a beer and I was like trying to open it. And I guess I was just trying to impress her or something. I don't really know. I guess it didn't work. She told me eventually that it wasn't impressive and she thought I was a dumbass. But, you know, I never actually got drunk when I did that. I don't know what it is about it. I drank it and it was fun and I got a little hot and felt kind of cool. But nothing special, really. And then when I started freshman year, during my first semester, I started smoking weed and stuff. Went through a phase of that, and then I actually quit for that same girlfriend, probably like November of that year. I stayed sober off of pretty much everything from then until October of 2022, probably. So during my phase of sobriety, which was actually not completely sober, there were a couple things that happened. I can get into those later on, future videos, you know, whatever. Damn, I've been recording for 8 minutes. So during that time frame, I was totally sober. There was a lot of depressing shit going on, which I can also get into later. I'll probably talk about it eventually. In October, actually, no, not October. It was late September of last year is when I had gotten kicked out of my dad's house and I went to my mom's, and we ended up having to leave our house and go to a homeless shelter. That was the first time we were homeless. We left from there. First night went to Colorado and we got settled there with a family there that was taking us in. And a little bit after that, I had made some friends there, and this was one of the first times actually going out with my friends that I had made in Colorado. I went over to this girl's house. I'm not gonna say her name. It was her and this other girl who was like kind of in a relationship with my other friend that I was living with, and my other friend. And we went to her house. I was still sober off of everything. I'm like, sorry man, like I'm not gonna smoke, I'm not gonna drink or anything. But when I got there, she had lots of her parents' alcohol stashed in her room, and the fiend in me awakened, and I was like, damn, you should let me get some of that. And she's like, yeah, sure. But I was still kind of being a pussy, and I was like, I don't want to drink it here. I'm gonna save it till I get home and think about it, and I'm gonna share it. Because I wanted to share it with my other people that I was living with. Nobody ended up wanting any. I got probably like that much in a water bottle. It wasn't very much. I took it home. It was probably about 3.5 shots worth. But having not drank in a really long time, and it was some pretty strong tequila, was what it was. I actually probably got what I would consider drunk for the first time. I had like that buzz going. I felt like euphoric and like a dumbass, basically. I realized that when I get drunk, I feel like a dumbass. That's like the whole thing for me. One of the reasons that I don't like it is because I don't really feel super good. Like I get the feelings of feeling good, and it distracts me and it takes my mind away from shit, which is what a lot of people fall into as a coping mechanism. And with alcohol, that's really easy to do. It's really easy to fall into it as a coping mechanism, and I feel like that's actually what happened to my grandpa, and he was an alcoholic for a long time. My grandpa on my dad's side. Anyway, that was, I think, my first experience really being drunk, and from then on I was like, maybe this isn't so bad. And I went a while without drinking because it's not something that I really ever do often. I never had a problem with it, but I don't enjoy it, and I think it's not a good thing. yeah, from then on, I didn't really drink very much until probably December was the last time I recall really getting or drinking alcohol. Actually, I didn't really drink anything for 2 months. I just never felt like it. But I was at this homeless shelter in Arizona. It was a close living situation. It had its ups and downs, but one of my mom's friends, she offered me alcohol this one time. I guess word had gotten around that I was a little bit of a little stoner kid somehow. There was this lady there that knew about my habits and ended up, I guess, fucking snitching on me to her other friends that also lived at the shelter. But one time she was like, "Hey, do you drink?" And stupidly, I was like, yeah. And she's like, "All right, I'll be right back." And she brings me this cup filled with it was like this peach tequila or something. It wasn't like super filled. It kind of just tasted like a peach flavored beer or something. I don't really know what it was. Um, and she gave it to me, and I was a little sneaky boy. I went to my little spot and I drank it. That was probably one of the times I was like, this doesn't even fucking feel good. Like, cause I got I felt the effects of the alcohol. I definitely felt it. I had enough to where I could feel it. I was like, this kind of isn't all it's cracked up to be. I don't feel good. Like, I feel good, like, in my body, but like, I wish I could feel more. I wish I could feel more happy, which is like kind of what I get from other drugs, like weed. I get like this feeling of being happy and like euphoria, and I get some of that with alcohol, but it's really kind of fucked. Like, it doesn't feel good to me, if you know what I mean. It feels good in your body, but like up here it's like, yeah. I don't really think I drank a lot since then until one time in probably February. I'd watched a video that had said, it was like a fun facts video, and it was like aromatic bitters are actually not illegal to sell to minors. And I'm like, you can get in trouble for stealing alcohol, but being the little kleptomaniac I was like, why don't I just go steal these? Like, they're small, they're easy to take, and they're really high alcohol content, so they'll get you really drunk. So I went to Target and I actually stole a couple bottles of them. They were probably like only that big. I think they were like 4 ounces, maybe. I cracked the seal, and these things they're not supposed to be drank straight up. They're supposed to be mixed very lightly into like a drink, or like used for cooking, for like aromas and flavors. But they're super strong and they do not fucking taste well. They burn really bad. They kind of have like a cool taste to them, but they do not taste good by any means. And I took a shot glass that I had also stolen, and I poured them up and I drank them, and that was probably the most fucked up off alcohol that I've ever been. It was cool. I got super drunk. I went outside and I found like a cigarette and I went and smoked it, and it felt really cool while I was drunk. No, fuck cigarettes and fuck alcohol. All right, I'm gonna put this in there just for reference. Fuck cigarettes, fuck alcohol. But I had combined them. Like, I don't really like smoking cigarettes very much, but was really drunk and I was like, maybe this will be cool. So I went and I did that, and it was pretty cool. When I was drunk, it actually felt nice, and the combination of the nicotine and the alcohol was like making me stumble. Like, when I get really drunk, I'll stumble. Like, I'll actually stumble around, and I try really hard to stay straight, but it's kind of hard. And I stumbled my ass back up to my room and, watched the YouTube and fell asleep. And then probably a couple days later, I decided to do it again. And so, I took my little bottle of bitters, poured it up in shots, took it, chased it with some water, didn't have anything else to chase it with. Okay, so I've never thrown up off of any drug except alcohol. Up until a few days ago, I threw up off DXM. So I poured up the shots, I drank them all. And this time, I did my thing. I watched some videos, listened to some music, and went to sleep. So I woke up feeling really nauseous. All right, and first thing I do is I grab my ice water from right next to me. I had a big old water bottle with some ice in it. I drink it. It starts to make me feel better for a little bit, and then I lay there for like 5 minutes just sipping on water, trying to feel better. And eventually I realize I can't take it anymore, and I run to the bathroom and I fucking projectile vomit all over the fucking bathroom, and it wakes my mom up. And I guess what I told her is I ate this like artificial protein bar, and it messed with my stomach, and she believed it, I guess. Damn, saying this shit out loud really makes me sound like a fucking asshole. So that's what happened. I'm gonna just be straight up. I drank an entire bottle of aromatic bitters and I threw up everywhere, all over the bathroom, and most of it got in the toilet. I threw up before I could even get the lights on. So I turned around once I was finished throwing up. I turned the lights on and it's all over. It's all over the toilet seat, the toilet bowl, the floor, the bathtub. Okay, so like I don't have like a reference for it, but say this is the room I'm in. There's a little box like this, okay? And this is me right here, and this is the toilet, and then over here is the bathtub. I projectile vomit into the toilet over here. Some of it ends up over here in the bathtub, which is probably like a solid like 5 or 6 feet away. It was a pretty small bathroom, but that means I projectile vomited like 4 or 5 feet into the bathroom shower wall. And I grabbed Clorox wipes or baby wipes or something, and I wiped up what I could. Like, I thought I got it all clean. And I went and I washed my hands, I threw everything away. And, you know, I talked to my mom. She's like, what happened? Are you okay? And I'm like, oh, I ate this protein bar. It fucked me up. And I go back in the next morning. I wake up, I feel better. I go in the next morning, and it's still, like, everywhere. Like, everywhere that I wouldn't expect. It was like behind the toilet. It was like on the actual drywall, like on the wall behind where I'd even thrown up. I don't know how it got there, but it did. And I spent like probably a good 20 minutes cleaning that up. And there was still some little stains that I couldn't get out that just stayed there forever. It was like a red color. Like I don't know what I'd eaten. I don't even think I ate anything that night. I kind of like was just drinking and I didn't even eat anything. But I threw up everywhere, and it was there for a long, long time. That was the last time in recent memory that I've gotten really drunk. I've drank 1 or 2 times since then. Alcohol is pretty fucked, because here's the thing for me. My drug of choice, if I do a drug, is going to be weed. All day, every day. That's what I pick. If I had only one substance I could do, it would be that. And the thing with weed, I feel like relaxed, you know, I feel euphoric, I feel, just all these different ways, you know, I get the munchies, I'm just super happy and positive and uplifted, and, you know, music sounds better, food tastes better, and when I'm drunk, it's like I only get a couple of those, but there's, like, some negative effects mixed in, like, I always have, like, nausea in my stomach, and I get angrier easily, I feel like. I don't usually drink while I'm interacting with people, because, I mean, like, the only people around me are, like, my family, so they're usually asleep if I ever drink. I'm just in I'm not in a bad mood, but I'm just never in as good of a mood as I am when I smoke some weed or something. There's just something about being drunk that is not for me. And with the history of alcoholics in my family, I've noticed I have a bit of an addictive personality, too. If drinking is something that I would ever get into, I feel like it would be a slippery slope. And the negative effects of alcohol far outweigh any negative effects from like most other drugs. Like if you smoke a lot of cigarettes, you're not gonna become like a drunk, violent asshole who's gonna go beat people up, which has happened not from me, but people in my family. I'm not gonna name names. I'm not gonna get into detail, but violent alcoholics are not a rare thing for me. I've seen a lot of them. But I've never seen like a violent weed smoker, like a violent pothead or like a violent nicotine addict or anything like that. It's always the alcoholics. And it kind of fucks me up that that's such an accepted thing, that alcohol is so legal and readily available for everybody. Like even kids, their parents have it. It's so easy for a kid to go get drunk. And that's just a horrible path to go down, especially if you have a lot of heavy drinkers in your family. It's an addiction that a lot of people have and that not a lot of people will, you know, admit that they have. A lot of people, it's just so normalized to go out drinking all the time that it's not like a taboo thing at all like some other things are. I can't really think of a good example, but imagine if like instead of having fucking bars, instead of having dive bars and you know, wine tasting and stuff, it was like coke, like it was cocaine, and your parents would be like, oh look, we're going out to the bar for some alcohol, but instead they're saying, oh, we're going to go do some lines. We'll be back at like 3 a.m. And they come back all fucked up. Replace alcohol with anything in society right now, like any other harder drug, or even less hard drug. Like, I feel like it'd be really taboo to go out and just go smoke a bunch of joints with a bunch of random people you don't know in a big building. That would be taboo. But going out and getting drunk and getting violent and starting bar fights isn't. I don't get it. It's just alcohol is addictive, and it's fucking, it makes people violent a lot of the time. Not everybody. It doesn't go for everybody, but a lot of people are violent and crazy alcoholics. And I cannot say the same about pretty much any other drug. I don't know any like violent, crazy cigarette smokers. I don't know any violent, crazy potheads. I mean, maybe I don't know any personally, but I'm sure there's some out there. I don't know any coke users personally, but I've never really heard of super violent coke users or anything. Not defending the use of coke. Fuck that shit. I would much rather drink than do that. But I'm just saying, like, alcohol is so normalized when the substance that it is should not be normalized at all. I'm rambling a lot, but I think you get the picture of what I'm trying to say. Alright, bottom line here is alcohol is very normalized in our culture today. It's a very common thing. You'll find it everywhere, stores everywhere. It is not something that I believe should be as normalized as it is. It's more dangerous than anybody actually really realizes that it is. It's more addictive than a lot of other things that people can be doing. And it's just not all it's cracked up to be. It's a dangerous path to go down. I know a lot of alcoholics in my family, and I've heard of a lot of others in other people's families, and all I can really say is fuck alcohol. So, the bottom line here, fuck alcohol. It's kind of fun, but there are other things that are better than it. Also, fuck cigarettes, meth, coke, all that other shit. I know it kind of sounds like I might be defending that stuff when comparing it to alcohol, but no, fuck all that. Anyway, yeah, I've been recording for like 27 minutes now. That's fucking crazy. But yeah, fuck alcohol, y'all. Y'all have a good night. If you enjoy my little PSA here, you know, do your shit. Drop me a little like, drop me a little sub. It's much appreciated. And let me know if you need more of these story times. They're pretty cool. I like making them. This wasn't really a story time, but you know what I mean. It's 27 minutes. I'm talking way too fucking much. All right, bye guys. Have a good night.
I might feel too sick. I think I hate this.